Congratulations. This is the last lesson in the last unit of the last semester of 2020. Today we're going to talk about Venn diagrams. Two different kinds. So we're going to start with a warm-up. It's a word problem about the game. It's a beanbag toss. It's called cornhole. It's got a rectangular platform and a hole at the end, and you throw the beanbag, try to get it into the hole. Okay, so we've got of measurements. We have feet and inches. So 2 feet by 4 feet, and I'm going to stick with this 0.5 feet of diameter. So the area of the platform is going to be length times width. Well, it says the length is 2 and the width is 4, so the area is 8. The area of the hole is going to be pi r squared. Now the diameter is 0.5 feet, so we're going to have to do 0.25 squared, which is going to give us 0.0625 pi. Now here's the tricky part, and the part that I think that people might miss on the test. It says, what's the probability of landing on the platform, not on in the hole? So that's this area here. What's the probability of getting that? Okay, so that means that we are taking the area of the rectangle, subtracting the area of the circle, and dividing by the whole area of the rectangle. My rectangles are terrible. Okay, so that's going to be 8 minus the whole, 0.0625 pi over 8. You can leave it like that. You could also put it into a decimal. I have 0.975, which means 0.98 or 98% chance that you're going to hit the platform instead of the beanbag going in the hole. Okay, Venn diagrams. So we are going to make our own Venn diagrams, and then we're going to use them for probability. They can break down non-mutually exclusive events, which means that they have an overlap in them. And we use interlocking circles to represent the different events. So we have just A, just B, A and B happening at the same time. In the corner is neither. And at the very top left-hand corner, I'd like you to write your total number of, people or cards or events or classes or whatever that is. The total goes at the top left. So here's our first Venn diagram, and I promise you there's going to be people that will not watch this video and think that they can solve this themselves, and there's a very common mistake that people make. So first thing we do is we 200 kids at the top left that are in HA classes. So we're doing this out of those 200. 60 of them take Spanish, so let's just mark this as Spanish. 120 of them take Chem. And 40 of them take Spanish and chemistry, create a Venn. First step has to be the overlap. The overlap is 40 kids. That goes in the center. They take Spanish and they take chemistry. Number 2, you're going to subtract to find the rest of the circles. So it says 60 kids take Spanish. 60 kids minus the overlap gives you 20 kids who only take Spanish, 40 kids that take both, but this is 60 kids total. Okay, and then we have Chem is 120 kids minus the 40 overlap gives you 80 kids. So that one circle of chemistry, this guy right here, totals 120, and it does. Okay, now the last step in filling out your Venn is to find the none. The kids who don't take Spanish or chemistry. So out of the 200 kids polled, then I subtract the 20 and the 40 and the 80, and I'm left with 60. That goes in the bottom corner. 60 of the kids, of the HA kids, don't take Spanish or chemistry. Okay, and then we answer the questions. How many kids take Spanish only? 20 are in this Spanish only. How many students take chemistry but not Spanish? That's almost the same exact question, just about chem though. How many kids take chemistry but not Spanish? 80. How many students don't take chem or Spanish? That's this guy right here, 60. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I just copied our Venn diagram from the last slide onto this one. Now we're going to turn it into a probability Venn diagram. So Spanish, Chem, 200. So out of the 200, you have a 20 out of 200 chance of a kid just taking Spanish, a 40 out of 200 chance that they take Spanish and Chem, 80 out of 200 chance it's just chemistry, and a 60 out of 200 chance that they don't take either. And now it's easy to answer the questions. What's the probability that a student takes Chem only? 80 out of 200 is Chem only. Probability a student takes Spanish, that's both of them together. That's that whole circle. Everyone that lives in this circle takes Spanish. So you add up the two probabilities together. What's the probability a student takes both Chem and Spanish? That's 40. 40 out of 200. Okay, we're going to create our own Venn diagram. So we have a dog breeder who has 58 golden doodles. I think that's your total. There are 11 who are black and golden. So we've got black and gold, and 11 who are both, 25 who are golden. So 25 minus 11 equals 14. And 3 that aren't any combination of black or, we're going to say that that's gold. 3. So how many are just black? We probably should figure that out. So 58 minus 11 minus 14 minus 3 is going to give us 30. So 30 must be black only. Okay? So we have to have a number for every single part of our Venn diagram. So it should be 4 numbers in total. And a good way to check is just to add up 30, 11, 14, and 3 and make sure it adds up to 58. This is a probability Venn. It's in decimals instead of fractions, but still works. There's 100 students total. So how many students are there in each section? In order to figure that out, like for math is a total of 0.7. If I multiply that by 100, that's going to give me 70 kids in math. And for science, add up the sections. You've got 0.3 and 0.2, which is 0.5. That gives you a total of 50 kids in science. It doesn't ask about neither. So we have 70 kids enrolled in math and 50 kids enrolled in science. This is just new notation. So what this means is find the probability of math student. Find the probability of a math student. Math student would be 0.4 plus 0.3, which would give you 0.7% probability of a math student. So you could say P of M equals 0.7. Same thing, what's the probability of science? Probability of science would be 0.2 plus 0.3, which would give you 0.5. This is the probability of math, but not science, so math only. Another way to write that would be 0.4. Probability of math and science, this is your overlap. Probability of taking a math and a science class is 0.3. This is also called the intersection. You might see that notation. M intersection with S, or where's the overlap? Probability of math or science, that means that a kid could take math or science. That is all of the circles and overlap together. All of these kids take a math or a science or both. It's called the union, and it's a union with a U, right? So math, union with science is what's in all of it. It covers all of it. So 0.4 plus 0.3 plus 0.2 adds up to a 0.9. 90% chance that a kid is in math or science. Okay, so some different notation, but still kind of works out the same way. So we always start with the overlap, or in this case, A intersection with B. We're going to start with that. That goes in the middle, 0.18. And then we're going to start with the subtraction. So if A is 0.54, if I subtract 0.18 from that, I get 0.36. Okay, and then it says the probability of B is 0.41. If I subtract 0.18 from that, I get 0.23. And then we have to figure out the none. This should add to 100%. So 1 minus 0.36 minus 0.18 minus 0.23 equals 0.23. Four numbers that should add to 1 or 100%. You guys, that's it. That's the last lesson of this year. Make sure you do the discussion post, complete your Schoology quiz. If you're missing anything from the other 3 lessons, remember there were only 4 lessons in this unit. If you're missing anything from those, make sure you go back and get them done, or check my comments on your Schoology PDF. There was one geometric. Check my comments. If you have a 50%, that means that you either skipped something or you did something incorrectly, and I showed you how to do it in the comments. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.